What's good? What's good? What's goody? It's your buzzing cousin Ghost Boogie here with you, episode number 1, B-Boys Underground Forever, with my special co-host back from G-Fresh. Welcome back, fam. Good to have you.
I feel blessed to be here and
Yes.
doing what we did way back in the day.
We bringing it back
though.
Yes, absolutely. And then we've got the one, the only, the originator. It's the original podcast. It's the originator. It's number 1, and it's Jaz-O, y'all. What's good?
Yo, what's poppin'?
Good.
Yeah. Yo, let me tell you something, man. First and foremost, man, I'm loving that theme music. That beat is hard.
I actually produced that.
Oh, yeah?
G-Fresh, yes.
No question. Yeah, I like those sounds in there. Real psychedelic.
Yeah. Thank you, bro.
No problem.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Good to have you, G. And then we got also the homie that linked us together. We got the one and only Big Weez. What's good, man?
Hey, what's popping out there, man? I'm blessed to be here, man. Good to be back in the scene. Ready to get it moving again.
Yes.
Big Weez.
Word up.
Man. Well, welcome everyone. It is episode 1, B-Boys Underground. It is the kickoff, and thank you all so much for being here.
Oh,
So,
no doubt.
So welcome, Fresh, Jaz, Weez, episode 1. Where do we start? Where do you guys want to start?
Oh, man, you start at the beginning, man. You know, it's kind of like washing dishes by hand. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at the forks, the spoons, the plates, the bowls, and then you'd be like, man, where do I start? And wherever you start, you just organize from there. Like, oh, let me hit these bowls up. Hit the bowls. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna get the plates. Next thing you know, you got a little organized, system going. So, we just kick it. That's how you do it. You just kick it. The number one issue of the podcast, number 1 MC in the universe, and we all should think that. You know what I'm saying? The originator, original things. And me saying I'm number 1 is no disrespect to Weez right there. You know what I'm saying? Because he number 1 too. We all number 1. You the number 1 DJs, everything.
Absolutely.
I think
Number 1 podcast. Come on now.
Number 1 podcast. Let's
Number
go.
1 episode, number 1 podcast already. Yeah, buddy.
That's right.
Boy, you got to start from the top.
Well, starting from the top, right? One of the things that I was doing when I was looking up and researching, you had mentioned that Grandmaster Caz was an early influence, right? Tell me about that. Like, what was it about Caz, and was there anyone else outside of Caz that was influential?
Well, yeah, but not too many. I got to be honest. I heard a few cats, and I heard a lot of groups, in which Caz was a part of one. Cold Crush Brothers. But what astounded me about Caz was his delivery, his ability to sing, amidst rhyming, and just his cadence, his projection, all of those things, all these intangibles that people, they may pay attention to it, subconsciously and look for it subconsciously, but consciously they're not really into that. They into the music or the actual lyrics or what have you. He was the first one that really made me understand, like, yo, that's where I want to be. If I want to do this rhyme game thing, which wasn't a game back then, it was just MCing and getting your name up. I had to at least be where he was. So
I got you.
Yeah.
So that was the bar. The bar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I spoke with him very recently, and I expressed that to him, And I had expressed that to him over the years, you know, like we run into each other. Actually, it was Red Hook Projects in Brooklyn on Red Hook Day. And I knew about the cats, you know, I heard, you know, Cold Crush tapes and, you know, their battle with Fantastic Five and all of that. But then they came to Red Hook because my man Ron, that lived in my building in Marcy, his uncle Mango was a DJ. And so Mango, you know, he used to bring the music out and this, that, and the other. So he was like the man as far as DJing, you know. So Red Hook Day was only right that Mango had his stuff out, and then all of a sudden, you know, they was like back then they wasn't saying Cold Crush Brothers, they were saying the Cold Crush Four. They were saying Cold Crush 4 is coming to Red Hook. I was like, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then, you know, like it was getting dark. And, you know, when it's dark, you know, the cops, you know, they shut it down for the most part. And it was dark. And out of nowhere, here come these cats. You know, they're like, yeah, we're going to get on the mic. Boop, boop, boop. And I was like, oh, shit, it was Kaz. And that was the first time we met. And then after that, you know, periodically, you know, after I got my deal, it was 1989. I was on a promo tour. I was in LA at this club, and I ran into him and Africa Islam, you know, the Zulu Nation. And yeah, we kicked it. I was talking to Kaz. You know, I was telling him, you know, basically what I'm telling y'all, like he's the one that make me want to really take it seriously. And he was like, man, come on. He was like, all of us heard about this cat from Brooklyn who was better than everybody. We used to talk about you all the time. I was like, word? That shit made my whole year. You know what I'm saying? That made my whole year. So after that, you know, periodically, you know, in, you know, certain points in time, I would run into him. But yeah, it was Kaz, you know. And I mean, you know, there were a lot of cats that I heard that are, you know, their styles and, you know, basic flow appealed to me, but Kaz was outstanding, you know, and I'll tell anybody that, like, Kaz was outstanding. So salute to Kaz, because he, you know, he is an integral part of me creating me. You know what I'm saying?
How crazy was that though, when the person that you looked up to and was the reason why your why, right, was the one came back at you and actually told you how dope they had thought you were, right? And thought, you know, gave you that compliment. I know that had to have put a battery in your back more than a year. That
Oh,
had to,
super battery.
that had to make put the period, like, I know I'm doing this forever now. Like that had to be
right.
one of the
to be on his radar, and you like, I'm looking up to you, like, you know, starry eyed, like, yeah, that's who I'm emulating or looking forward to,
Yeah.
trying to create my style. And you like, you on my radar.
Yeah, and
that'd be dope.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it was that when he said we, so he wasn't the only one saying it. And
Right.
that was really amazing, especially, you know, when he was saying we, he was talking about you know, his colleagues and stuff like that uptown, you know, in the Bronx, where, you know, in Brooklyn, there were only a few of us doing it the way, you know, the way they were doing it uptown. And rest in power to my brother from another mother, DJ Stephen Crossland. You know, he got murdered back in was in 1983. And but we got accepted to High School of Music and Art in Manhattan. Back then it was on Convent Avenue. And you know, we drew, you know, like I was an artist. We did all type of stuff with you know, ceramics. So that's what we did ever since second grade. That's what that was our vibe. But and he became my first DJ. So for the most part, like, that's when we got exposed to like how they were doing it uptown, you know, as far as MCing and DJing. Cause, you know, we were in Brooklyn and everybody was basically going, you know, Mikey and Ikey was playing in a ditch, you know, that type of shit. And
Yeah.
right. So we came, you know, so we was coming back from school like after the first couple of weeks. And, you know, when I got on the mic, I was like, yes, yes, y'all, to the beat, y'all. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole different vibe. And that helped me, you know, that whole thing helped me like stand out within itself, you know. So that was a great experience. You know, I ain't stay in school long. I wasn't after the 8th grade, I wasn't too enthusiastic about school. But I graduated, you know.
Right.
Kind of got a feeling for that music. That bug was there.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I was always in music. Like my parents, they had all types of music. Um, you know, and it was just a plethora of genres. It wasn't just like, you know, wasn't just like soul and rhythm and blues and stuff like that, you know. You know, you know, my father, he listened to like Diodata, Chick Corea, you know, you know, my mom, both of them, they like, you know, the Platters, everybody from the Platters, the OJs, Aretha Franklin, Donny Hathaway, Bobby Womack. So I just got like just a whole soup, a whole
Gumbo.
right. Thank you
Seasoning.
for the music. And I was more into music, you know, when I was very young. You know, I had a guitar, I had a couple of guitars. I wasn't really interested. I was just curious, you know. But you know, I played them to my abilities, and you know, that's where it started, and it just went from there. You know, with synthesizers and you know sequencers. Then came the drum machines, and that was it from there.
So the one question that I wanted to ask, and I do want to get to you, Weez, as far as who inspired you, and
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I've got the so you're known for your rhyming and stuff like that. I think that you do not get nearly the amount of recognition for what you've produced and the beats that you've made. I mean,
Right.
everybody knows that you produced Ain't No, and that's Jay-Z's first hit and stuff like that. But when you look at some of the things you had a track with Nipsey Hussle just here recently that you
Right.
released out, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and the beats that hats off because top notch. Some of the beats, the rap game, crack game, that beat.
Oh, yeah,
Of
that's one of
course,
my favorite.
in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I
The
mean,
Big
come
Jazz
on,
remix.
man. That dude. Tell me what's your preferred machine to make beats on?
Um, the Kai MPC. Um,
Which one?
now I
3000, 2000?
Excel or
well,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I never really dealt with the 2000 or the 2500. Those were
Uh-huh.
like those were the Chinese models,
Okay.
and it wasn't a race thing. It was it was just the fact that you know
workflow.
Akai was more actually the Akai machines were the Roger Lynn machines. I mean the MPC Roger Lynn machines was the
Mm,
first it was the Lynn drum, of course, but they weren't Akai yet. And then it was the Lynn 9000, and the Lynn 9000 they evolved it to the MPC 60, the MPC
mhm,
60, then the MPC 60 Roman numeral 2, and then the MPC 3000. In between that, of course, they had the other machines, the 2000 XL and stuff like that. I didn't really deal with those because the format and the feel actually was different. But present day, like I have an MPC Renaissance.
yes.
Yeah, I
Yes,
love the Renaissance
that's dope.
because
One of my producers gonna love you to hear you say that.
oh
Lighthouse
yeah,
shout out. He loves the Renaissance.
So I
oh
got the
ha, ha.
Akai Studio Black. So
Oh no
yeah,
doubt,
man. Yeah,
no
yeah.
doubt. Yeah,
So did you ever do or use any? Did you ever use the SP? Did you ever use like in Sonic ASR 10?
um, I know my man, my brother Nafish, he'd be like, oh man, but I never liked the ASR. Um,
Okay,
but I had an SB12.
okay.
Then I had an SB 1200. I don't know if y'all remember as far back the SP 12, you
That
had to
was
have
totally
the
different.
external Commodore
Yep.
disc,
Yep.
disc driver, and you had that big 45 size disc. And when you did a song, it took like 45 minutes for it to save. It
Yeah.
was ridiculous, but the
Yeah, because
sound was good.
it was sequential saving, so it was just like and technology
Yeah,
back then.
Oh,
I've
like that
seen
old
it
yeah,
on
dial.
the
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
And you
yeah,
hope,
like imagine doing this podcast on dial up, and we got high speed fiber optics. You'd be like,
yeah, say one word at a time.
yeah,
Sneak a word in, yeah, that'd be crazy.
yeah.
But yeah, so I messed with those for a little while. The S900, the S950. Most people were using like the 1200 with the S950. That was DJ Premier's thing that he was known for. Um, I never did it
Rock,
like that. When I
rock.
did it, I started using, when I did use the S950, it was only because there was limited memory, and then it was before the MPCs had the cancellation function, where like the 1200, where you hit the button and it cancels what's playing at the time. So
Hmm.
with the S900 and the S950, it had that function.
Mm.
So yeah, but that Renaissance is real. That
I like
Renaissance is real.
I like the
Hmm?
fact that you can switch the different modes in the Renaissance. You can
Right.
switch so you can get that, go back to the 3000 sound and get that. Was that an 8-bit or was that 16-bit? I can't remember because the 3000s was the first machine that I had ever used and learned on. But
Oh
I can't
yeah.
remember what the bit ratio was on that sound because it always had that dirty, grimy sound. It
Oh
was
yeah.
just
Um,
very unique.
right, right. The SPs was I think it was like 10 or 12 or something like that. And then the MPC 60, I think it went up to like 16-bit.
Okay,
And yeah,
okay.
most
Good,
definitely.
good question was like, because I mean, I'm sure a lot of people did it. We, because your bit rate and then your memory was so low,
Oh my
so
God, yeah.
Oh yeah.
we would actually speed up records, sample them up
Counting
really,
Ah,
seconds,
and
counting
because so
seconds.
that's to save time, and then drop it back down, and you can get it like that.
right.
And
And
I was like,
and you know what's crazy?
I'm not. I know we're not the only one doing this because you got to because you was
You had
limited
to.
on what the sounds you had. Now, right now, you get so many things. Like I started with a SP, and I only used it for drums. I did not do music in my SP, and
Mm-hmm.
I had a Ike Baldwin where I would do all my sample chops, and I
Mm.
learned how to be a MIDI god where I had like five things. Hit one button on the SP, and it would run five instruments.
Right.
So I
It
was
was
just sitting there
right.
like a mad scientist, like because long as you could get sequencing, that was the biggest thing. Getting sequencing, you
Yeah.
could accommodate with some other pieces, but yeah,
Yeah. Before like the MPC, I was using the Yamaha, the QX5,
Mm.
because it was
ooh,
such a
yeah,
great sequencer. And
yes,
I know about that. Like, remember the MIDI boxes, the through boxes. I had
hmm
one of those, so I was running like 4 or 5 different sound generators from that. And it's funny when you talk about how we used to some people, and you know that people had to speed up the whatever's being sampled to save time. I was on the phone with Fresh Gordon. I don't know if y'all know who he is.
Yeah.
Fresh
Commissioner.
Gordon. You remember? You
Yes.
know Fresh Gordon? Yeah.
Yeah. Bob of the
Yeah.
Bomb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
I'm right
Um,
behind you, bro. I'm right behind you. I
Now
grew
I
up.
could dig it, but you know
Yeah.
some people they don't remember or
Oh
they
yeah.
weren't aware. You know.
We're talking to a bigger audience, and some people they getting hip hop history here. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, man.
No doubt. Yeah, so we were on the phone, actually, like, what was it, day before yesterday, and we were
Mm,
talking about the same thing. We were laughing about it, how, we used to have to speed up the song and or whatever you sampling and then slow it back down. Like we had to be real economical, like you to go to what you were saying with sample time, with memory. Hmm.
and think about it. Did you ever like when you speed it up and you know how it drops into all the keys? So now you got the burp burp burp, and like, and so now you
Right.
got
The key
to get
groups.
to the one you want, but the one you sample, that's when you start getting sped up samples and like ooh, you
Hmm.
start listening to that. You start listening going backwards. So yeah, sound like you didn't went through
Yeah.
the like progression like a lot of producers do. Yeah, but
Yeah.
go ahead. Tell us more about like how you start putting that good production out there. Because they was knowing you more as an artist, MC, opposed to a producer. That's a
Right.
different bag.
Right. Well, I attribute that to my music background, like as far as the music that my parents had, and even my aunts and uncles. And I had one uncle in particular, my uncle Terry, and he plays piano and sings. And he used to have like he just had a vivid imagination. Like we used to do this fantasy radio station where like we're not it's not being transmitted or anything to anybody. And I was so young, I was probably like 7 years old,
Hmm.
and he just had me doing stuff, singing, learning percussion. Like we would get empty mayonnaise jars and use the and get spoons and stuff and play percussion
Empty
or
oat,
percussive
empty
type instruments.
Quaker X, empty Quaker
Oh
oats.
yeah, yeah, that's a good drum. Yeah,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know. So yeah, so he had me doing stuff like that, and that really started it with music, just my family in general, because then I had first cousins, second cousins, and you know they all had guitars, and so I was just surrounded by it, and with it just evolved into with hip hop, and then making beats. um I was just I'm very math oriented, so when I started seeing the time signatures and stuff like that, like on the MPC, and even before that with like the Lin 9000 and stuff like that, um it just opened me up to like, wow, I understand this perfectly. Like
That
if
that
somebody
makes sense.
tried to,
That makes
hmm,
sense why you like that makes sense why you like the Akai workflow because it's like
right,
you said, it's just so math
Workflow
structured.
is yes.
exactly, because I started
Some
learning.
some
and
can get
and
into
and
that.
actually before that,
No, you good.
the SB12, where you learn some of the time signatures, it was kind of limited. But once you get to the MPC, like you can you can totally dequantize. You could do that with the SPs too, but you can dequantize. You can go from um, 1/4 time signature, and then the 16 triplets, or what we know as 24ths. And then what I
Hmm.
love about the MPC, you can actually, and the SP had it too, but it was
Yeah.
really off. is the swing percentage.
Oh yeah, I tried to fool with the swing, and I'm from the James Brown school. It got hit on the one, and so sometimes that
Right.
swing, but sometimes that swing works for certain music. So yeah, I see what you're
You
saying. I was like,
mhm. Well, my key was to program first, and depending on whether I was putting drums over a sample or whether I was just doing just a beat and adding the instrumentation from other MIDI, MIDI sounds and stuff, I would use it. But with samples, it became like you could feel it. Like, 'cause, most samples, most of the time, you put the drums over a sample, you can hear the shuffle percentage. It'll be like almost like triplets, or it'll be like around what I would call a 55. I would put it at 55, where it just had that little, it was 16s, but it wasn't like straight 16s. It shuffled a little bit.
yeah,
So it,
it wasn't cut and dry. It was like little play in it.
right, right.
Yeah,
So that's what helped me a lot, and just my just doing it so much, you know. Like, I listened to a lot of people, and they sampled, and their drums that they had programmed and wasn't on top of the drum. Like the snare wasn't on. It would flange with the snare in the
and the
in
sample.
the sample. Yeah, and of course, now with technology, it's easy. You can program it to go right on top and stuff like that. It's no problem. But back when, you had to actually, like, what I did, was just dequantize, and I hit it based on how I feel it, and then go back, listen to it, and say, oh, I got to push it up 2 steps or push it back 2 steps. And that's why if you hear all my beats, the snares, the drums, none of them flange with the sample.
Mm.
And if you
Hmm.
loop them, and sometimes if that loop ain't cut, because we had some programs that you had to cut that loop perfectly, and then it start getting a little extra play
Crooked.
in it, and then all your
Crooked.
drums, if it wasn't, if it was on the quantize, they'll start
Right.
slowly creeping away from, like you like start over.
And that's the tweak. The tweak
Yeah.
is sometimes you had a beat, or you had a beat where the BPMs was like 93.4, some shit like that,
Right.
you know, so that everything is hitting the way it's supposed to. The listener,
Well,
they don't know. It's like, oh, why it ain't just 93? It's 93.4. They don't give a fuck, and they don't know the difference.
I
And you
got
wouldn't
something like
either.
that. You're
Yeah.
right. You're gonna
Hmm.
hear the final product.
That's right.
you,
That's right.
I watched your just recent last episode. If everybody is not did not get a chance to see, I hope everybody does get a chance to see your last, most recent was on Math Hoffa, and that was a great episode and great interview. I learned a lot, and
Growing
the
up.
one thing that I learned about and really thought about was when you and how you described how you had to chop those drums up on Ain't No, and to make that 7 minutes of funk work, because it's sloppy. It's one of them sloppy funky records, but
Right.
it wasn't a natural loop, and the way that you chopped it up was beautiful.
Thank
And
you.
that takes a lot of work, because sometimes you got to squeeze a millisecond, a second off to get it with the sample, to get it, because you might be in there. I mean, some of them, some samples just fall right in place if the drummer on time and the music, and they're not working on a necessarily same time code that the structure like our beat machines worked on,
Yo,
and that's why
Right.
you got to unleash the the quantizing on it. Yeah,
Hmm.
so that show you put your work in when you listen to
put his
that, and
foot in it.
that
Yeah.
drum,
Thank you.
that snare's hitting it, and that kick is hitting on time. I've
Well,
got
let me
I've
tell you
scrapped some
why.
samples, bro.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, most definitely. Let me tell you what happened though. What happened is, and I talked about it that I think I talked about it on another interview. I think it was all hip hop, whereas there are no sample drums on that song, on that beat. There are no sample drums. So what happened was I was attempting to do that, and it was like you said, it wasn't working because the song from the beginning, like after the intro, it speeds up. And if you listen, like a lot of us hip hop heads and music and club heads listen to 7 minutes of funk, you hear like if you sample the beginning and then you sample near the end of the song, it's like about 5 to 6 BPMs faster.
Yes.
Because like you said, it's live music.
The octave changes, and that's
Nah,
like,
yeah,
That's something
it's
you have to know as a DJ too to be able to adjust for that as you're in
yeah,
your
like to
mix.
kind of
yeah.
slide your fader slightly
Yeah.
down. You don't want to just
Hmm.
jump right into it because
Nah, you don't.
Did you ever DJ at all?
Not well, I did publicly a little bit sometimes, but not recently. But the
Yeah.
thing is, it's funny you bring that up. That most MCs DJ, like when you go back when most MCs DJ, and a lot of MCs, that's what they started as, because at one time there was really no such thing as an MC besides master of ceremony. You know what I'm saying? So when you had these MCs come out of the blue, at first it was the DJ, and the DJ got tired of talking, so he got somebody else that could talk while he do
While
his
he
thing.
keep the beat
Hmm.
going. Hmm.
Exactly, and thus the MC, what we call a mic controller, was born. So,
Right.
but I DJ, now I don't know about the those new turntables and stuff like that. Like when I was DJing, you had to have that touch where you don't make the needle jump. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
we had the techniques, and I did my thing on those, back spinning, needle dropping. Yeah.
Hey, you ever had one of them turntables where you had to you start with a penny, it might be a nickel, because it was
Oh
scared,
yeah, yeah,
and now
yeah.
it's a quarter to keep
I
it in
know,
the
Wearing
right?
that
groove.
needle out and that vinyl out, that this be
Man,
digging
get away from
in.
my! Don't bump into the DJ's.
Word. Yep.
Oh,
Hey, that
They
still
got rid
stands
of
true
all of
today
that.
with me.
I want to
Don't
ask.
bump the DJ booth.
Yeah, man, we played bodyguard. Like my DJ, like, hey, get away. I like
I still
you want to request a song and you ain't gonna dance. Get away from here. But I
Right.
wanted to ask you this early on because I want to ask Big Weez something too. It's going great. Um, when you start doing the hip hop, I know you talked about the variety show and just doing doing the thing. How did they respond to when you was doing the hip hop stuff? I mean, you talking about older parents that was into different music. How did they respond when you was like, I'm gonna rap to this. I'm gonna rap over this song.
Right. What was so crazy is that when I first started rhyming, um, most of my family, and I mean, I'm saying outside of New York, they didn't even know what I was doing. They were saying stuff like, "Oh, you talking on the mic?" That's what they called it. Yo, you talk on the
Yeah,
mic? Or even people in New York, they were like, "Oh, you talk on the mic?" And it was something. It was extracurricular. So my mother, like my parents weren't really familiar. Um, my brother and sister, they started knowing. Um, but it was a thing. Like they weren't, like, as we got older, like our friends became other people besides the same crowd. So even though like we're all a year apart, I'm the youngest, it's like it just became a thing where like I had my own people and they had their own people. So they had to find out from their people what I was doing. And out of nowhere, it's like, yo, this little nigga is actually popular. You know what I'm saying? So they
Starting to
they didn't
adjust it,
right,
yeah.
and back then it wasn't a money thing so much. It was a popularity thing. It was a skill set. So
And fun.
it wasn't right. And that's how I am really to this day. Like most of the stuff that I've done, it wasn't really money motivated. And I mean, even the production, all of that, it wasn't really money motivated. It's just I do what I love to do. That's why I don't really care too much about people saying like, yo, you should try this or you should try that. I was like, nah, you should try shutting up, minding your business, because I'm not trying to be like everybody else. I'm not a cookie cutter rap artist.
Right.
I'm not a
Cookie
cookie
face.
cutter MC. I'm not a cookie cutter producer. I know it sounds good, and I've had, I don't want to put nobody on blast. I've had people, those who feel that they are or are recognized as the best in the game, be like, yo, you the shit,
Hell yeah, man.
hands down. And it was weird for me for so many years to even say anything like that, because the first thing comes in my head is like, what people think, and you have to grow out of that. Like, I can't really care what people think. Like, they think that you boasting or you marketing yourself. And I've never really been a part of any of that. That's why, like, social media, it just gives me a headache. But it's a necessary evil, because if
Yeah,
you're doing
it
this
is.
thing, and even more than like money, if you want your story to be told, like, everybody has their head in their phone. So if you want people to actually know your story, you got to be on the medium in which the story can be told, and where people are listening and they're receptive.
Didn't used to be like that. I mean, that transference of it from just, the streets is talking and, just the crowd and the enjoyment. Now it's like, and it's flooded, and we know that, but
Mm-hmm. It's a, like I said, it's a necessary evil right now.
you got to do it.
Yeah, and
We on
it's
we
sad.
on Twitch. We on Twitch right now.
On
Right.
Twitch
You-
and Kick. Well, Kick.com
yes,
and
you
Twitch.
gotta keep up with it. I mean,
We
like I
bombing
remember when
everything.
Facebook came around, and I'm like, okay. I said, well, I'm still producing. I got my record pool radio, and like record pool. You got to do it, and you
Right.
got to keep up with the times, or be a dinosaur and irrelevant. So
That's true.
and then
Yo,
we can drop gems to the younger, and the newer can drop gems to us on. I'm an IT guy, and I learned more. I
Oh
get
yeah.
my phone. I'm like, hey, I can fix your computer. I can get your MIDI working as far as the studio. But sometimes on that phone, I'm like, my daughter's like, oh, Daddy, just click this. I'm like, and I'm an IT
I've
dude.
had I've had so many instances like that, and
Mhm.
it's a wild thing. Like, we like you mentioned, we used to get notoriety by word of mouth, and which was amazing, because people back then, people communicated. There was no other medium, so you know like we thought we were in the Jetsons and shit when beepers came out. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody had that
You know,
culture.
You had
You
an
know what I'm
800.
saying?
If you got that beeper, you got an 800 beeper number. Oh, you boss.
Oh, you bought? Yeah, you seriously balling.
I
And
think I got them in a tray somewhere.
oh yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't find mine, man, for nothing. I don't know where any of that stuff is. The
I'll
last
tell you my
one
old
oh, okay. Hey man,
one. No, I'm
and
proud of
remember,
that. That's in
huh?
storage. It's packed in some deep, dark place. I don't even know where they
Crazy.
are.
Yo, just I remember when the two-way came out.
Yo,
Oh, you had a two-way. You was the man. You had
man.
a two-way. And the downfall was that not everybody had one, so, and it wasn't compatible with like a with a pager, like a
So it was a
regular
one way.
pager.
It was a
Right.
one way. It wasn't no
It was
two way. It was a one
It was
way.
a halfway out this month.
Oh, we
Yeah.
killing it. Big Weez,
Yeah.
jump in. Jump in.
Yeah, so I
Yes,
did want
yes,
to
sir. Yes,
say,
sir.
like, he had mentioned how important social media is, and I had reached out to you earlier in the week and was like, "Yo, I need your socials," and you're like, "I don't have any, right?" And then all of a sudden, as I go to, you know, promote today's show again on social medias, lo and behold, that I have a follow from
Yes, sir.
Big
Big
Weez,
Weez.
so I had to follow him back, and then I had to tag him on to the thing. So welcome back to social media, and please, welcome back to the game because
Yes.
thank you. I Weez told me, Jazz, that you finally like yanked them out of retirement, kind of like how I yanked G Fresh up here. I had to yank him
I
out of
was doing other
retirement into
podcasts.
this
It's like,
whole
man, let's get this
broadcasting
popping
thing.
again.
I was like, this has to happen, right? So he
Hmm.
yanked you out, and let's please introduce yourself and tell us, who are your inspirations, and let's go from there.
And
Yeah,
before that,
man.
hold on. Before that, Big Weez, everybody beer game is killing mine. I shaved yesterday. I was like a scrag. I got the look like everybody beer game is kicking my ass, but I'm like Big Weez got that.
Crazy.
And like yeah, hell, even Jaz-O got his shit popping.
Yeah, you got to, man. Yeah, I
Ghost
saw a
Boogie.
picture. I saw a picture of Weez, and I was like, because the last time I saw you, you ain't had none of that.
Nah, man.
You ain't
Nah.
had none of that.
It was just goatee. Yeah, with chin strap goatee. I got tired of
Yep.
Man.
shaving. That was it.
That's
I
how I
feel
was.
you.
I
I
shaved for
see.
the show. I was saying my stuff would just grow and it's all gray, and I was like, I don't care, like show
Oh
you
yeah,
my
man.
age,
Gray hair
show you
don't care,
wisdom.
man.
It's wisdom.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Big Weez,
Mhm.
rock this.
Yeah, man. I didn't growing up, man, my influences actually came from the music I listened to with my father. He played a lot of reggae music growing up.
Mm,
Everything from the Wailers to Ziggy Marley to Steel Pulse. So my musical influences, we didn't listen to a lot of rap music growing up. It was country, top 40, or reggae. I didn't get into
wow.
rap music until later in the 90s. And at that time, you couldn't tell me Master P wasn't the man. People,
Uh, na na
Make a
na
say
life
it.
for
na.
me.
Da
Yeah,
na na na.
Wow.
he had them colored disc CDs, the green, the yellow, the
Man,
brown, the orange. I was like, yo, this is dope. He's doing something nobody else is doing. Then he had them
Great,
blinged out
great
covers.
marketing. Great marketing.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But I was into that. You couldn't tell me different. I wasn't a No Limit Soldier because I had every album just because it was a collector item to me. And
Oh yeah.
at the time, I was young, you know what I'm saying? And
do
and
you still
so
have those?
I do.
So do you know how collectible the
Yeah, I
color
was about
Not
to
and
say
bad.
the
that.
solid color ones are? Those are like super super collect. Those There's a whole market just on those CD cases and releases alone. Like that's a huge like niche inside of the whole collector. So you sitting on a gold mine for real. Don't know what you got for real. Look into that.
Mm.
Maybe get
Yeah,
some
man.
insurance on
I
that.
got the Silk the Shockers, the Murders. Yeah,
Yes.
right. But my influences came from a different avenue. Like I said, I didn't start rapping or even had a passion to do it. I was around rappers my whole life. I didn't really care to do it until, one day, I stepped over to a house, doing some extracurricular activity. And, I was picking up a package, and he had a music studio in his house. And he was like, yo, you rap? And I was like, nah. He was like, man, you should just start jump in the booth just to see what it's like. And I was like, nah, I'm good. He was like, nah, just write something. And I wrote a little something. I recorded, walked out the door like it was nothing. And apparently he had a huge following and he had played that track. And everybody was like, yo, who's that guy featuring? And granted, I had wrote a song in less than 5 minutes. And I ain't never wrote before and never
Mm.
recorded before. And from there, the adrenaline rush was like, yo, people actually care to hear this, because I saw so many people fail before me. Everybody was trying to make a name. Colorado, the scene out here is dim. There's so much talent here, but it's dim. So I was like, I ain't gonna never make it out of here. with that.
Yeah,
And
they
then,
in New York.
my biggest
Mm.
jump was DMX really motivated me because I heard the passion in his voice
Mm.
and his story where he rapped and his struggle. And I was like, if he can pour his heart out on a track, and it started with his prayer, and that really is what jumped me off to going, I can put my emotions into a music and I will not be judged by it. And
Mm.
that right there is what really got me into it. And just the fact that it created a street buzz that I ain't never had before. So I was like, hold on, people are actually asking when the next time I'm gonna make a song, when the next time I got a show going. And I started creating a following just right here in the Midwest and the surrounding states outside of Colorado. And I had a fan club all of a sudden where people was writing into the fan club, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. I only got 2 songs out. and from there it really just took off from there. And I just I found a love and a passion for music because I was able to express myself.
Hey, can I say something? Kind of got that tone, loc grit in your voice too. You do. Has
Man,
anybody ever
you know how
said
many times
tone
I
loc?
hear that?
I mean, I ain't talking about lyrics. I'm talking about
Man, I hear it all the time,
I
man.
heard it. I heard it. Gotta say it. Like maybe like when I was rapping, I was like, "Oh, you sound just like Big D King." I say, "No, I don't. I'm better than him."
Yeah.
Like that's
Nah,
just that
I hear it all the
competition.
time. I hear it all
Hip hop is a sport, and you want to be the
the time.
best that you can be, and you can't be like, "Oh, he better than me." You don't say that. I'm from the Charles Barkley. Like I'm the best player on
Oh
I'm the
no,
best
man.
one. And if you sound like
I
somebody, you're
believe in
like,
that
"Well,
Ivan
I'm
Allerson.
better than him."
Mm-hmm.
Oh no,
Yeah,
100%. Ivan Allerson flow is either get stepped on or get stepped over, and that's my
yeah,
philosophy in music. If you go hard, I'm gonna go harder than you, and I guarantee you're not gonna go as hard as me. So
yeah. The
that's
voice
just
sounds. I mean, it sounds great. I think I listened to a couple of your joints before we got on the call. I was like, I said, yeah, I like his flow. I was like, it sound like Tone Loc. Not the same delivery, nothing,
Oh
but it
boy.
just like a little gruff in the voice. You know how I
hey,
go.
The vocal texture.
yeah, and his
Yes,
own
Yes.
yes,
Loc is a
that's
legend.
it.
Yeah.
So hey, honored to sound like the man.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing that was always the thing about cutting through, especially back in the golden age, like 90s and early 80s, that whole golden age, 80s, 90s, would be not only did you have to be original, you couldn't be, sounding like other folks or, biting anybody's style,
'Cause, right, you're a
but
biter. You sound like
right.
somebody
It,
else.
it but
Right.
you had but the people that had that unique texture of voice
Something
and
different.
cadence, right, that cut through
Yeah.
the crowd. That's what
Hmm.
people gravitated to. You think about someone like Kane. It's got that unique voice that's cutting through. You have Be Real that cuts through. You have Rakim, like yourself.
Rakim,
There's just
Karis
different
One.
voices that cut through. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
KRS-One, Chuck D. I mean, how can you not when you hear Chuck D deliver something? How can you not listen and hear?
Right. Yeah. Most definitely.
Everybody in each his own
Um,
got their own delivery sound.
that's right.
Go ahead, Jazz.
No, I was just mentioning how like there was a time, and I think it still goes on now, when a new artist, or a standout artist puts a song out, then you have a whole line of um, I guess you could say clones right behind it. You know, um,
Copycats,
you know when
biters.
yeah, when you had iconic artists to reach the surface and start getting a lot of exposure, then you had about 7 or 8 that was even played come right behind them, sounding like them, making songs with a similar orientation or a similar format. And
Yeah.
and I think I mean, that goes on even like times 100 now, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know any of these artists hardly. You know, like I mean, especially after they throw that auto tune on their voices and they all whining and the production sounds the same. Everything sounds the same. Like if somebody be like, "Yo, you know which artist that is?" I don't know. I really
Right,
don't.
because he sound
And
like the last eight. And you know what? And I remember this, like running in the thick of the record pool, and I literally used to get calls like, "Oh, he sounds just like Tupac." And I'm like, why can't he sound like himself? And I said that's when the game was. That's when the industry took over. 'Cause we can jump on that topic. When the industry talked, "Oh, I need you to sound like Busta Rhymes just had a new hit. I want you to sound just like that." I'm like, do you want me as an artist or you want me as a mimic, a puppet? Like
It goes both ways, even from a production side, the remember when the digital world introduced like SoundClick and producers was able to upload their music on there. From a
hmm
producer standpoint, when Dre was hot, everybody made a Dre beat. It was like a Dre type beat. Or,
right,
anything that's hot at this time, all it is you're taking the next beat and everybody's just emulating the same beat, which is causing these artists to sound like the next artist. So it all plays into one.
that,
yeah,
yes, it's like a marriage of, okay, here are the labels. I mean, I would have major labels calling like any independent, like, oh, who is that? I'm like, they heard new stuff, but they didn't want to sign it. They stopped playing A&R, and like, oh, we want somebody because they're about what'd you do? What'd you do, Jazz-O?
hmm,
We want to
oh
sell.
yeah,
We
yeah, yeah,
use me before I let go. They like, and they're not gonna do A&R, a artist and repertoire. They're gonna get you to
no,
make their money real quick, and then when it's time to you do a new album, like, and that style might have burned out. Like instead of you creating, pushing the culture and the music forward, they want you to copy. And they're like, oh,
yeah,
he sold up, he went double platinum. I said, well, that sound ain't gonna last like that. Hip hop is, but not that sound. You know,
and
just
and
keeps
and let's
moving.
yeah, and let's be mindful of the sound. Really is what is being marketed. So the marketing dollars that go behind a particular sound. So it turns out that the agenda becomes monotony itself, because the reason why we are aware of these clone artists coming behind these iconic artists is the fact that that's what's being pushed, so a lot of times, unless you really dig, thanks to the internet, in a sense where everybody can put their music on a platform and be heard, but you have to look for it, because the music that you hear, the music that's on rotation, whether it be satellite radio, the P1 stations or whatever they call them now, um, those songs have the dollars behind it. That's where the money is. So the more you hear a song, it's not because it's a great song. Not saying that it couldn't be a great song or it's not a great song, but the reason why people think it's a great song is because it's in heavy rotation. It's in heavy
Repetition.
rotation because they put that money into it.
Yes, and
So
you might not like it. I remember I went down to a record pool meeting in Atlanta, and we was having a real. It got taped, and we was talking about like nigga, you could put out row 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 your boat, and if we jam the radios with it, everybody gonna be. You might not like it. I remember it was this Rally's commercial. Gotta eat, gotta eat. I couldn't stand the music, couldn't stand the commercial, but it's every time I turned on the TV, I'm watching ESPN, I'm watching BT. Gotta eat, and they're like, I knew the song was in my head, not because I liked it, because it was
because
flooded to me. Yeah,
rotation.
Hey,
repetition. Now,
yeah, we talked about that today. Same topic. Me and Jazz earlier today, we were talking about it. It literally is just an adult nursery rhyme, and it
Man,
just sticks in your
pretty
head.
much.
And same conversation earlier. I mean, the
Yes,
topics you
indeed.
touch on, And I mean, it's all made and it's gimmicky for that reason because gimmick sells. Authenticity does not.
row your boat down the stream. And I mean,
Right.
yeah, and then like artists have to really get to a point where like you gotta, because you got so many avenues to control how you want your music to be out there, and develop your fan base. And then if you blow up, don't. Here's the beauty of it now with internet and all that. You can stand your ground opposed to a label, because right now the labels, they come to you if they, oh, he got some real streams, oh, he's blowing up here. They go look at your city, stuff like that. I used to get these questions asked to me like, is this artist really blowing up, or is this fake?
Right.
And they're like, if it's like good music is always going to find a way, and it's a lot of good music out there, but you still
That's
have to
true.
put some money behind your craft. So
That's
Big
true.
Weez,
Oh, it
yeah,
takes money to make money. If you don't
oh,
invest in yourself,
absolutely.
nobody else is.
Right. I mean, why
Yes,
should they
indeed.
just all of a sudden like, hey, I got some hot tracks? Ain't nobody heard you. You got put, like now it's
That's
visuals.
90%
Yeah.
of the artists doing it.
I mean, you
So
also
now you
have
coming back.
Every
Go ahead.
what
Go
you
ahead.
you,
Ghost.
you would. I mean, you have to actually really. I think people don't start. They don't mess with you unless you actually really do put the reps in. You got to put those reps in and present and understand where you truly are at in your journey, right? Because it, regardless of how nice you are, you have to practice because it's just you just have to continue to get better. You have to put those, they say, 10,000 hours in. Putting those
Mm.
10,000 hours in to be a master of anything, right? You can be nice and everything like that, but really to be a master of your craft, and those 10,000 hours start even as a kid. Like you had mentioned that Jazz, how when you were younger, you were beating on pots and pans and doing a radio station and all of that stuff that was in you, right? And I think anybody that's creative or in this music, I think early exposure to music as being like one of your primary sources of what you focused on as a kid, you see that it really does open up paths in your brain to be able to be more creative and be better at math because music is math, right? And
Yes, indeed.
all of these and that's how I explained, because I have twin 11-year olds, a boy and girl, and I they always want to know about music, and I've taught them music since they were infants, and
Hmm.
I've explained math to them through music, and they are able to do
Mm.
math, and they're 2 years advanced because
Mm.
of being through music and me being able to communicate and have a commonality in a language and be able to teach through music, because that's how I kind of picked up and learned myself
Right.
was, and being exposed to a broad spectrum of music. I was blessed with the parents that I was exposed to all music, and being from Ohio, I was listening to nothing but funk, rock, all of it. It's
Funk,
all of
rock,
it.
classic rock, little. I
Right.
mean,
You mean
yeah.
soul? I mean, I've got some of these records that are behind me are my parents' records, and it's from the Commodores. My very first album was Stevie
That's a good
Wonder.
crate you got behind you, bruh.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is this. I've got 10 to 20,000 records at this point. It's ridiculous. These are
I
just the
told
ones
you I
that I've
just
got
claimed my
behind
We come
storage,
we
and
we coming
everybody.
to your house.
yeah,
me.
Hey,
Hey,
I got them on the backyard. I got to get them into the garage because it's starting to get
man,
cold out here.
get
So
out
y'all.
of
I
that
emptied
heat.
my storage,
Yeah.
and I put
Boogie
it out
told me a
there.
secret about one of those vinyls he got in the back. He got him a jazz vinyl back there.
I do. I gotta find it. Yes, I did
Yeah,
not.
I I had a
Oh,
loss.
word.
I had your first album, with had I had Hawaiian Sophie, and I definitely had the second album with the originators. And I remember it was a couple other songs on there that I like. And I'm doing mixtapes. I was rocking everything. I had some of that. I remember Hawaiian Sophie because that got video play, and
Oh
then you'd
Yeah.
be
yeah.
like, okay,
that's the
Big
original
yeah,
Big
big
Boy
video.
right there. That's the
Yeah.
original B
And
boy. The
that was
high fade,
so
the big
different
chain.
from what that was so different from what I mean. Hip hop was being fun and experimental and like Hawaiian
Yes.
Sophie. And somebody signed
Mm-hmm.
off for that song in the video that happened. When I heard the originals, I know where that sample comes from, by the way,
Hmm.
because I dig in the crates. I
Oh,
like the bigger, the bigger, the bigger.
right.
That created
Yeah.
another generation of people rapping fast. You
Yeah.
had your tongue
Yeah.
twister. You had some other people trying to speed it up. That was a different out of the box type flavor. And I
Yeah.
remember I heard that. It was one of the ones I put on loop. I was like, and it was, and as you know, we can get into that, but it was JC, not Jay Z. And I was like, so when he came out, he kind of disappeared for a little bit and came out with, what he came out with. I was like, that's the dude from Hawaiian Sophie. That's the dude from the originators. And I knew that James
Mm-hmm.
Brown stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
What's the name of that song? Bumping or Pumping? I think it's Pumping.
yes.
The James Brown joint.
Yep. And you was like, this is my partner. And I liked how, like gave him props and Jay Z kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm here. He was like, yeah, I got this thing going on. I got it. Because what label was you signed to at that point in time? I can't remember the label on that record.
EMI.
EMI. Okay.
EMI. Yeah. I was the first rap artist ever signed to EMI.
Yeah, because they was doing a whole different catalog, and being the first one, you got somebody sign you, and now all of a sudden they don't know how hip hop was still at that point. We
Right.
don't know what this is, but right
We were
now,
talking about that earlier, right?
Yo.
We were talking
this is
about that how
this is original American music.
yeah, that's the truth. That's the
Yeah.
truth. Yeah, he's talking about because I mean, EMI was known for what the Beatles,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
and
And then
who was my label
every
mates?
late,
Red Hot
oh
Chili Peppers.
yes.
Yeah.
After
It's,
that, every label start trying to semi-develop a rap department, and which was, they knew how to market different things. They didn't know how to market hip hop. It was still
Nah, they
so
didn't.
fresh and so brand new. Yeah,
And
and
they were
some people went.
following. I'm sorry. They were.
No, go
I
ahead, go
just
ahead.
wanted to say that they were following behind Warner because
Yeah,
Warner had acquired Tommy Boy Records. They had acquired
yeah,
50% of Tommy Boy Records, and then and this was like around 80, maybe like 87, 88, and then um, they acquired Cold Chillin'. So Warner was
yes.
like leading the pack with, as far as a major label, putting out or distributing hip hop music or rap music. Yeah.
Doing the imprint because one like Coach Chillin was under Warner Brothers, and you had the Juice Crew, Big Daddy
Right.
Kane, Biz Markie, MC. You had all that.
Mm-hmm.
so by looking
Ooh-wee.
up what EMI had, okay, so list of artists they go all the way back pre 1960. One of their original or first artists they had
Right.
Nat King Cole,
I didn't know that.
Judy
I didn't know that
Garland,
either.
Judy
uh,
Garland.
Ooh,
yeah, Dean Martin. You had
Wow.
Dinah Shore, Frank Sinatra. Then, if you get to the 60s, they had the band, the Beach Boys, the Beatles. They had the Animals, the Yardbirds, Pink
the
Floyd.
animals.
Deep, yep, Pink Floyd,
Mm.
Deep Deep Purple.
Oh,
You
and
had, let's
those
see, Herman's
became
Hermits. Yeah, I mean,
Deep
Wow.
Deep
Purple.
Purple, but Pink Floyd, though, bro. I mean, come on. Joe
I know.
Cocker.
Hey,
Yeah, Joe Cocker, T
Joe.
Rex. And
Oh,
then the 70s, you had artists such as Airborne. Let's see here. All for One. Ahmed Sahir. Let's see here.
Mm.
Michael Adam Ant was on.
Oh,
He was
really?
a
Oh, yeah,
punk
yeah.
punk,
That's
Adam.
right.
punk rock
Yeah,
artist.
yeah.
Yeah.
Adam Ant was on there. They had let's see here, Bare Naked Ladies, Lloyd
And keep
Banks.
talking.
Uh,
Jaz-O, we didn't care about none of that.
Queen.
We were trying to find that break in that music.
Hey,
I
you
got
know,
the
Iman, he was.
I got that
It's a
big beat.
legendary.
We didn't care about all that.
Hey,
We
look,
wanted to hear that drum breakdown and the bass.
Right.
Beastie Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Beastie Boys. They had who
They
else?
had the Beastie
Black
Boys when they were
Elton John.
Sabbath,
still a punk rock group.
David Bowie,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Oh,
about
rest
that.
in peace.
Garth Brooks,
Hey,
Yeah.
Meredith Brooks,
hey,
James
Elton
Brown,
John, Freddie Mercury, Queen, all them guys. It's a
Burning
legendary label.
Spear. Yeah,
I
man.
mean, currently Coldplay. I mean, it's
Right.
Coldplay.
Uh, yeah, I mean, good, good music. I mean, I listen to like we all grew up listening to multi-genre music. I don't think there's nobody on here that listened to, just one style of music.
Man.
You said reggae, you had OJs. I mean, I had funk, and my father would buy, some of the white bands like Poco, and I was like, I said, where
Ah,
you got
that's
this? He's
Mm-hmm.
funny,
like,
man. Fogo.
so I used to steal his records when the hip hop was coming out because it was all about sampling. And
Mm.
so
Right.
I sneak him out the house and I would write dope break in 4 minutes. And then like I
Right.
slide him back over his house. He's like, who wrote on my records?
Right.
I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
Wasn't me. Wasn't me.
That's
I was like,
crazy.
and he
Yeah.
told me something I never knew. I'll let you go in a minute. He told me like, I said, man, all Jay's round do is holler on the record. He's like, he said, son, he wrote all the music. I was like, what? Because we didn't appreciate like I like yeah. He said he wrote all the music. I said go listen to his whole piano album that he played all the music. I was like it gave me
Mm-hmm.
a different appreciation of you didn't know who was doing what. We were just trying to grab the best sounds to do what we was done doing. But then it
Yeah.
taught you to be a
He was
music
he was a
historian.
maestro.
Yes, I loved it.
Yes, indeed. I don't like how they portrayed him in the movie because they didn't. They just made it seem like he was just
Uh,
speaking like gutter language as far as his composing was concerned. You know,
yes, they
like a
didn't they
lot of
didn't tap into that.
nah, not at all, not at all.
I kind of liked the movie, but I mean, yeah, it's like,
I mean, it was entertaining, wasn't
yeah,
very
but
informative though.
it missed some things. I mean, you ain't hear nothing about Jabo Starks and Clyde Stubingfield. Rest in peace to both. I mean, the, you didn't hear that. Like
Right.
that created a lot of hip hop.
And then they waited till like damn near the end of the movie to even highlight like Bootsy Collins.
Yep. The Funk Brothers, and from
Hmm.
where I'm at in Cincinnati, Ohio, Hamilton.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah,
No doubt.
I have connections with Bootsy. I've been to his house and been to his arc while he was warming up and preparing for one of his tours. His one of my good friends, it's his uncle, is Bootsy
Oh, word.
Collins, but no
Yeah.
cousin. I'm sorry, because they're kind of close in age. But yeah,
Hmm.
I'm
Bootsy's
hanging
on
out.
the wall.
I'll tell you, he's such a good dude. He came and visited me and hung out with me an entire day at my job. He just stopped in. He had bought a bunch of inspirational books and wrote some personal things about what those specific books meant to him and like the lessons that he learned, and like brought those and hung out with me for the entire day and kind of just uh, gave me a bunch of knowledge. And just for someone to do that and go out his way, and Bootsy Collins is one of my all-time heroes, and for
That's
him
what's
to
up.
do that and have that connection and just create a real connection, it's a memory that I'll always have. You know what I mean? And he's just a real one. He's really a good individual all around.
Mm, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to Bootsy Collins.
Yes.
Absolutely. I hope he hear the podcast. Big
And
Wiz.
that's not even talking about his musical skills and
Oh,
creativity. You
one.
talking
I
about
mean,
him?
ooh,
Yeah.
he said he learned from Larry Graham and like slap bass and stuff like that when he was with Sly, and these
Mm-hmm.
cats came out of Cincinnati, and this is not a hub. Um, and this is different for like everybody on the call. You was from the Mecca when it came to hip hop. You were in
Mhm.
the I when I as I got older and like even young,
Mm.
I started really got deep into hip hop in
Mm-hmm.
'81. I'm 55. And I was like,
Okay.
this, like, I was born in the wrong place. I needed to be in New York. And
Shit.
Well,
and we're all like, we just watched this story unfold. You was
Mm.
there with some of the groundbreakers, and you're one yourself.
Thank you.
Um, oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you. Like, no, thank you.
Thank you.
I
Yes.
appreciate it.
So,
I really appreciate it.
so just give us a little bit more, because I'm going to get back to Big Weez too. But your aura,
can I
and
jump in real quick?
go
Please
ahead,
jump in.
Big Weez.
Well, just
Yeah.
because I'm in the chat as well, following along, and it looks like one of the guests who has a question for you, Jazz.
Yeah.
So I would love to know the answer to this myself because I've never asked this.
Yes.
So
So
it says here, go ahead, Boogie. Go ahead and
which
ask the
one? Which
question.
one? Who is it from? So I can put it on the screen because I actually
Looks
was
like
going to segue
herbs.
into that.
Looks like from herbs.
Herbs one. All right. So we do
Yeah.
have. I was going to segue into. I've got every single question that I've been asking. I've been
Well,
gathering and
let's
starring them
run
to be
this.
able to do it.
Yeah,
So it's
let's go.
time. As far as B-Boys Underground, I want everybody to know that this is very much an interactive thing. This is a way that you have an opportunity to interact and be a part of this. And it's a community that we are trying to rebuild again, all for the love of hip hop. It's 50-year anniversary of hip hop. It's necessary that myself, Fresh, everybody does something for it. And this is my way of saying thank you to hip hop, who has been, as someone who's been through a lot of battles in my life, hip hop has been the one thing that's kept me together and a glue, because it's music and just the culture and the connections and the people and the love that I have
Camaraderie. Yeah.
had just from this thing called hip hop. And thank you to everyone that's tuned in right now. If you're new here, hit that follow button. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday, and it goes at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Mountain, 6 p.m. Pacific. Now, first question we're going to ask Big Weez. I know this is a great
Yeah.
one. Herbs one. Make sure you follow him. That's my homie. He is on our usual suspect sesh. That is a 420 based podcast. That's every Monday and Thursday nights right here on this channel. But this right here wants to ask Jaz-O, if Big L had never died, do you think Jay-Z would have blown up the way that he did?
Oh, that's
Uh,
mm,
yeah, yeah, he would have. And let me clear one thing up. What's her name? Jaguar, right?
Yes.
That's her name, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So she
Ooh.
singer.
she has a lot to say, but
Yes.
I gotta say this. She sat in front of a camera and said that Jay was with Big L, and that's how Jay he basically put Jay on. Now, we know where Big L was from. He's from Harlem. Jay's from Brooklyn.
Right.
Jay started going uptown and was being uptown because of Dame. Between Dame Dash and Clark Kent, he was not with Big L. Um, and first off, I wanted to clear that up. And I gotta say this, I'm not going at anybody, but a big reason why I'm even on interviews and podcasts and stuff is because you got to set the record straight. There's too many people lying. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Too many people lying, or too many people who just don't know the narrative, and they're trying
Wasn't
to
there.
manipulate the right. They weren't there. They got second and third hand information. and they just don't know what they're talking about. But because there's no one who has a big enough platform to stand up and say, yo, you're lying. I know you're lying because, and I could say that in this case because I'm who I am. And I know when he went uptown, and I know where people were and who was going where with who. So I just wanted to say that. And Big L was a terrific artist. Big L had flair, you know, and you know, I feel personally he was a good dude. He was humble, you know, until he
Yeah.
started rhyming. Then he was, you know, like all of us, you know, he became Superman. But nah, I think Jay would have still been who he is. He would have been. It would have been the same. So
Word.
not exactly the same, but I mean, because then you had people like Big. You had people. There are other talented artists that you could say like, well, if they had done this, they had done that, you know. But yeah, I feel like Jay understood the usage of catalysts to propel him to a certain level. And he utilized not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just what it is. You know, he utilized resources to get to the next level, you know, and myself included. You know what I'm saying? I had something that he needed. He utilized it. It wasn't malicious, but he utilized it and he does it constantly. He's a businessman, like he told you. So me, I'm an MC. I'm a producer. I'm a singer. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. You know, I'm not the one, you know, I have great marketing ideas, but I just don't feel it's as important as me being on top of my creative game.
Yes. Yes. I mean, well said. Well said. Great answer.
Thank you.
So yeah. So Big L, you know, like, you know, Big L was great. Um,
Yes, indeed. He was nasty.
I mean, yeah, and it was like, well, we can throw this to the person. If Big L was still alive, how would he be rapping now? Just so, you know, it's semantics.
Oh,
Any
okay. You
thoughts?
asking me?
I mean, any, you know, I'm asking the whole panel. If Big L was still alive, how would he be rapping?
I think he would have
I
transformed
think
with the game.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead,
I
Big Wiz.
mean, yeah, I mean, Big L, he would have conformed with the generation. I think he would have been able to have the longevity and last because you change with the game and you mature as an artist over the years. So as decades pass as an artist, you still become one of those artists that are relevant in the time and with that sound. So I think Big L was never one dimensional. He would have been able to conform to what's current.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I
And
think
to
that's a
add on to what you're saying, because that was my answer as well. He would have maintained his signature style, you know.
but kept
So
up.
conforming without compromising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, hey man, that's a logo, man. Hey, did you trademark that?
Now you
Conforming
you can have
without
it.
That man, you know.
compromise.
You
Now
can have it.
we gonna share
We
money.
already got I move different, so you can have that.
Yeah.
Move different.
Now, hey, if I take it, you know, like if I use it, you getting credit. I said, like you might
Hey,
get
you're
that
a
call.
good
Like,
guy then. Because
you're
90%
right.
of people out here
I don't
taking a
believe
run.
in that. I don't believe in that. I
Yes.
don't believe in stealing nobody's stuff. Like I make sure all my artists now have their ass cap. I don't believe in like, don't let me manage your music. Don't let me like.
Right.
I'm gonna do the splits correctly. I love the way ASCAP and BMI works now. You can't do what they used to do back in the day. You can't big shug nobody no more. Oh yeah, well we got all you know, like hey,
But
go back to
don't
five
say that.
heartbeats.
Don't say
Yeah,
that
come on
because
now.
Big Shug and Suge Knight are two different people. To
Oh,
be careful of that.
oh, no, Big Shug is with the Gangstar Foundation. Come on now. I
Right,
just
right.
flew that out there wrongly. Yeah, thank you for correcting. So for the listeners,
Just to clarify, the
No
clarification.
doubt.
yeah,
No
I'm like
doubt.
I thought I said what I said, but I slipped up.
Nah,
Nah, it's
No,
Big
you
cool.
L's a
It's cool.
guru.
That's why it's four of us. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No, you're
We say
absolutely
Weez.
right.
Yeah, speaking on Gangstar, big up to speaking on Gangstar, rest in peace. One of my biggest influences from East Coast was Guru. So
Man,
Oh,
I could still spit
Yes.
him a cappella to this day. One of the best lyricists ever to do
hey,
it.
do it. Hey, what you got right now? What you got right now? What's your favorite Gangstar? And that's a hard pick. What's your favorite
that is a
Gangstar
very
song?
hard pick, man.
um, what's up? So what's up is my
Next,
favorite track.
next
No
girl.
hook. Um,
Ooh.
no hook, just straight bars. It
Mm.
sounds like just a raw, authentic freestyle. He
Hmm.
just come in, come out, and that's the end of it. And when he ended
That's
the
what's up.
bar, he said, "So what's up? You don't be sticking out your
Oh.
hand because you ain't my fucking homeboy." Oh, that was in the story for me, right there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, and can
that
we
was an
do?
assault to the dome. Just
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
he started the verse. So what's up? I can't be having that, son. There's rules you're supposed to go by, and this is my habitat. Right there, he told you, I'm the king of the jungle. You in my world.
Mm-hmm.
And this he pretty much stated, you step in my world, this is what you come against. He said, if you think I'm fronting boy, then come against me. You come off soft while I come off with credibility. You living in a fantasy world, kid, you're killing me. Done.
mm, mm,
That
mm,
you
hey,
got it live on air. He's boy.
mm, mm, mm.
big ups, man, to Gangstar, man. Huge influence. Sorry I didn't mention him earlier. Um, big love to that. That was big influence on my youth.
Now
Man,
you mention them now, so yeah, because that's like, man, like hearing Premier as a producer. I mean, Premier, Pete Rock. When I was, I'm coming up. I mean, these guys about same age, and I'm like, I hear that's like, and like still sharp and still. You go down in here like I want to emulate. I'm like I don't want to copy you. I want to go out there like I want to make a beat that is better than that. And that's no offense. Like, oh, he got another one coming out. I
Yeah.
go
You,
back to
you
the
should always
lab
aspire to be better.
on facts. Right. You go back, you hear somebody like spit some like, oh, that's cold. Let me go back in the lab and I'm not gonna emulate it. I'm gonna see what can I do different to one up the game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's how
Yeah.
it's supposed
My.
to work. I think hip hop is supposed to be that challenge without the messiness, and I think some of that is lost. That is still, it's like I played college basketball, and eh, you want to go hard at the dudes that the best dude. We playing you and you hurt. Oh man, I don't feel good about that game. I want to
Right.
go
Right.
right. I want to battle the dude that's that dude. And so if
In
I win,
your top form.
yes, yeah, I want to see you limping on your leg, and you don't want to see me limping. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's how the battle should work, but still camaraderie that like I respect steel sharpens steel.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite Gangstar joint is Take It Personal. Blum, blum, blum,
Classic.
blum, blum.
That's the
Yeah.
way just the way he used to amputate the sample, like take it, take. And who's gonna handle
Yeah.
the whole weight? That's one of my favorites, but it's just
Mm.
so many. If I had to pick one, oh, ex girl to the next girl, because I was going through something, and that spoke to me.
Yeah. He's going through it.
Yeah, at that point in time, ex girl to the next girl, girl's good, so good. Next,
Crazy. Yeah.
yeah,
So
What we
so
got next
yeah.
on the question vibe there?
yes, sir. I've got
go
one
give
for
us another.
you. I've
Go
got one
ahead.
for you, Big Weez. Your homie, our homie, Cosmo. SM4 Sticks from Miles Cigar Club. Shout out to you. The Green King wants to know, where can we hear some Big Weez stuff? Some other guys out
So
there without that name.
luckily, as you mentioned today, I started a social media account on Instagram.
Yes.
I
I
heard
had one in the
SoundCloud, bro.
past. Yeah, yeah.
I listened.
You
I,
know,
I listened to 3 of your joints. I was like,
yeah.
okay. I said, I
You
like, I
know,
like how
but
he flowing.
yeah, I started a social media. I had one in the past. You know, caused little problems. You know, I can't control Instagram models. Uh,
That man
hey,
caused some problems in the past.
so I got rid of social medias because you know, it caused problems. So, but no, I'm back on and actually going forward. I started it today, and I'm actually going to once a week upload a new track,
Yes.
or replay
Excuse me.
older tracks you know, I'm gonna put some new music out soon. As well, but as far as tracks that I recorded, once a week, I'm gonna upload a track up on my Instagram.
Nice.
All right. Perfect.
So, what is
And
your
Perfect.
Instagram
everybody
that we
on
can
here,
follow you at?
yeah, post
My
that. Yeah,
Instagram is at Weez McGee.
At Weez McGee.
yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And I
Be on the
think we're gonna
lookout
do
though,
something
because
new
you know
here.
I do want to talk about the new project. Since we're on the subject of music,
Please do talk about it.
I'm you know, again, I wouldn't say my arm was pulled into it. It was something I've been being pushed to, even from the wife. Um, she met me after all of the music thing, and her one wish is always, I want to hear you rap, or I want to see you perform on stage. And you know, you're supposed to, as a man, make your wife happy. So I'm gonna get back into it.
Happy,
I'm gonna
happy
push an
wife, happy
album.
life.
Yeah, I'm gonna push some mixtapes out there. I'm gonna be working here locally with a lot of local artists. So big ups to Albies for She's. He'll be featured on the album for a lot of the people here locally. Kalina, she's a female artist. She does a lot of vocalists, so I'll be working with her. Um, and the list just goes on. Of course, you know, I've never done a project with Jazz himself, so that right there will be a classic.
No
And
doubt.
plus I want to be
Me,
on that
me
remix with him
either.
and Nippy. You
Yeah.
know, plus I want to be on that remix, you know, with
Hey, that's
Nip's Hustle.
that's
So
what we do it.
Oh yeah.
And
Looking like the
Joe's gonna do
remix.
some scratches.
man, that looking like remix, man, I've already got the verse set.
Yo,
I
and you
think that
know what's
looking like
crazy
need a
you say
remix.
that? I think so. I think that yeah, because I had somebody my bro Wally out Chicago with Urban Grind Radio. He he has a producer and he put some new drums on that they're looking like sample.
Mm.
And that might be the thing right there. Like it sounded crazy. It sound, you know what it sounded like, and I'm not being boastful, but it sounded like what I would have done as far as the drums with the looking like.
And you know when
And
you tell somebody like when somebody's like, yeah, and what that means, that's the ultimate admiration. Like, man, somebody remix it like, yeah, I wish I'd have done that, and that gives them that energy. Like when he was talking to Cass, and they're like, yeah, man, I like the way you flow. Like we, not me, we like you. So
yeah,
you give that back, and who you are, that's energy for That's a new
yeah,
connection. That's energy. That's energy
crazy
for them. They're like,
motivation.
yeah, they gonna be like, man, Jaz-O say, man, my shit is hot, and
Hey,
that's and they know
and
who.
I gotta
Yeah.
admit that's something.
That
Hmm?
That's
is.
something because I'm like Mikey with the life cereal. Just,
Now hold on, you gotta
shit.
tell people because like I don't know like how old the ages people are. I'm like, I told you I'm 55. You talk about Mikey, my
Yeah.
kids and grandkids only them
He
they ain't
won't
seen that
he won't eat
commercial.
it. He hates everything.
Every-
That nigga,
Mikey
that nigga
likes it. Now everybody
Mikey
else start
likes it.
liking it.
Hmm.
So now they
But it
now
was
they got their spoons and they're like, it's good because Mikey likes it.
yeah, and it was the fact that Mikey was so discriminative.
Yes. Yeah, he like,
He hates
and everybody
he hates
they crowd
everything.
around the table. Yeah, like, oh, if Mikey like it, it's good for everybody.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey. I remember that shit.
He said, "Don't talk to me. I'm eating it now."
Old school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ain't say shit. He was just
And
into that life cereal.
anybody don't know that. Anybody don't know that. Google Mikey Life cereal, and I got some
Yo, Mikey
chocolate life.
likes it.
I still eat a little cereal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got some on the shelf up there now. Chocolate.
Lactose intolerant. Can't even mess with a bowl of cereal, man.
Man,
Hey,
Really?
well,
that's horrible.
Yeah, you can.
get the
They got
and
coconut
this
milk. They got almond milk.
Yes,
almond
sir. That's
milk.
what I drink. Almond milk.
Man, a lot of black people are lactose
I
intolerant.
like
I'm
oat
like,
milk, man.
I like milk
hey,
milk
look,
too,
you,
I
but I'm
like the
just
oat
lactose
taste
milk.
it.
Yeah.
man.
That's the coconut.
Yeah.
And
Test it
cereal's
out.
good,
It's
man.
healthier. It's less cholesterol. It's we're gonna be talking
Humans
health
are
on here too.
lactose intolerant. Yeah.
Pretty
Humans are
much.
lactose intolerant.
It's a
It's
natural
just
thing.
that we take it. Yeah, we take it until we can't take it no more. And after a while, with the other contaminants that we put in our bodies due to these crazy supermarkets, basically what ends up happening is that's what they call it, lactose intolerant. You can't tolerate it because it's cow milk. It's not mother's milk. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Nope.
human milk. It's cow's milk. And then look at the stuff. And then look how much lactose intolerance has risen, or what they call lactose intolerance. It's because of what they're feeding the cows.
Yo,
What they input,
Yes.
we're getting the output between the beef and the milk.
my
We're gonna get to
children,
that too about healthy eating. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go.
yeah, my children, they came at what 33 weeks, right? Because they were twins, premature. They were in
Mm-hmm.
the NIC. They were in
Mm.
the NICU for 16 days. And
Mm.
one of the things when we brought them home and they were trying to drink all these formulas, they had severe GERD, and they couldn't figure out what
Oh
kind of
God.
medicine they could get to help them any type of relief or soup. It was like colic, and they were going
Girl,
to
you said GERD. I said colic. You know, it's like
yeah, but
we had to go
there's
back to
like
the doctor
different
for that
levels.
stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Like there's different levels because they just would not sleep and they were just screaming
Tongue
full
all
blast.
white and yeah,
Yeah,
they
man.
was unhealthy.
And so, well, it was because they were going to go ahead and have to do surgery on my kids until we had to figure out to find this special cow's milk free formula that was $33 a can. It was
Man.
$33 a can, right? So diaper bills and formula bills a month, we were at like 1,500 to 2,000 a month. It was
Man.
They
ridiculous, but
charge
I
you
mean,
so much more to be healthier. They
yeah,
want
man,
you to
that's
eat
the
the
big thing,
basic
right?
stuff.
So
That's the cheap stuff. To be
you
healthy,
had
it's
to,
expensive.
and I blame that's a lot of the reason why a lot of folks that don't have the money to pay for healthy foods and don't have the money, the means, and also the education, because even in
The
school, they're
education.
not
That's right.
teaching. They are not teaching healthy living. I mean, these kids will eat chicken McNuggets if every day, all day long,
Processed
if you let them,
food.
and it's just ridiculous.
Processed food. Eat
Hey,
natural.
I gotta tell you, I saw a post on social media that this kid bit into a chicken McNugget and bit into a baby mouse.
Ooh,
Now we gotta go back to the stockyards and like how just like like
Yo,
and big business runs America.
they're gonna get, and I mean, this is not the important part, but that
Hmm.
family is gonna get like a gazillion dollars.
oh my God, yeah, man.
Yeah, right.
Yo,
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's the age
but
of suing.
yeah, but another quick point I want to bring up. There was another post, being that we talking about health and food. Another
Hmm.
post, and this lady was talking about how she seasoned up her salmon, you know, seasoned and all this other stuff, and had it on like a baking sheet, and was getting ready to bake the salmon, and she saw, you know, obviously she filmed it. She saw this little white stringy thing moving around, moving outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
God.
so it was
The
right.
parasite.
So right, it was a parasite. But this is the thing. This is the thing that right. This is the thing that's going to what you're saying about being educated, and the mentality is that she didn't say like, yo, stay away from this stuff. She said, so next time you get salmon, you know, make sure that you check it and this, that, and the other. It's like, nah, why don't you just not eat it? You don't have to eat it. And if you do, that's not the precaution that you take. The precaution is, you know, if she knew anything about that, I mean, what you should do with mostly all meats is put it in vinegar water. Because if there is something in it, the vinegar water is going to bring it out if you got to eat meat. You know what I'm saying? So it's the mentality too, like y'all saying, that is so important to change. Like we're not just defective as far as our diets and what we put in it. The reason why we put certain things into our bodies is because we're defective psychologically, we're defective intellectually. So
yes, and even like, you know, with Black Americans, you know, it's chitlins. I mean, we made it pop.
Yo.
We made something out of pig slop. To, you know, like, I won't eat that. But I like, look,
I can't knock it, man. My family from the South, man. I eat chitlins every Thanksgiving. It's customary.
Hey, my wifey makes them, and they come in hordes to get them chitlins. And I said, you know what? I remember I tasted it in college. The smell of it just smells like just boiled butthole. I was like, this is what y'all want to eat? So I mean, the whole kitchen stink off. I mean,
nah, that's
I'm like, look, hey, I get that. I said we have progressed from that type of scenario, and I tried it. I'm like, it tastes like. I don't like, you know, texture is a big thing for my taste. I said it felt like it was slipping through my tongue. I said, you just gotta put more hot sauce on it.
Hot sauce make everything better.
Nah, that drowns out what you don't want to taste. Like if you like vinegar and nah, bro.
I ain't ready. Chitlins, I ain't doing it. Between that and them pickled pig feet.
No,
that's ridiculous. Why? I do
it's
not
not even meat.
That. I don't understand that. I don't understand why people do that, man.
Yeah, I'm not messing with no pickled pig's feet.
That's
and on top of
stuff,
it,
man.
Yeah, it's raw. It's really raw.
Nah, I'm good.
And here's the funny part. This stuff costs so much money now to buy food that's really gonna be just terrible. I'm not talking like Charles Barkley. Terrible food.
Terrible.
So terrible. So now you're buying food, and they done raised the price so bad for some chitlins and pig's feet and pig nose and everything that like this scrap animal would eat. And now they charge us so much money for now. What they call it?
That's marketing.
Delicatessen. You know, I mean,
a delicacy. Right. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. Is marketing, and marketing raises the price. I'll give you a perfect example. Like in New York, well, at least when I was buying like wings, like from the Chinese Bulletproof, you could get 4 wings for $1. Now, mind you, the wing is the 3 different parts, like the 2 different joints. That's the wing. That's one wing.
Yeah.
But when you go down south, like to, let's say, Georgia, and you get wings is the 1 piece. So that's 1 wing. So the equivalent of 1 wing is really like 2 to 3 wings. And on top of that, when you go to the supermarket, in Georgia, you could buy chicken breasts for less than what you pay for wings. So
Are you
all of that is,
chicken
I'm serious.
breast? Ooh, yeah.
You can get chicken
Yeah.
breasts less for than what you would pay for wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, whoever listening, y'all getting some information from people that actually do research. That's a new one. I'm like, I do my research, and I'm like,
Lived it.
lamb is way up. I mean, you just like good pure lean meat. You're paying so much money for it, and then
Yes, you are.
garbage meat then went up. I'm like, I heard this one song. It was like, you selling us grade F meat, and
Yeah.
you're like, you actually, how many people go to a butcher at this point in time?
Hardly nobody, unless there's one in their neighborhood.
Yeah, so we go down to
There's
Cincinnati.
not too many of them.
Cincinnati is
Right.
like,
Just
and
saying.
Ghost knows this, Finley Market. We went down to Finley Market, and that's where you can get some really fresh. Like, you ain't gonna get no fresh seafood like
Cincinnati's
depending on where you
different.
live at.
Yeah, Cincinnati's different in a way that, and that's a big thing that I miss living out here in Colorado, was
Go
because
ahead.
in every neighborhood there was all those mom and pop butcher shops, right? And you could get whatever you
Yes.
wanted and fresh, and it was always a million times better than what you would get in a grocer because it was locally sourced,
Hmm.
fresh, and it doesn't exist like what you even the Finley markets don't exist anywhere. Like Cincinnati's very
Well, let me ask
unique
you this:
and fortunate for
right?
that.
Do you have Kroger's it everywhere?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're called
Do you
King
have
Supers.
Oh yeah.
King Super? But yeah,
Yeah, out here
they
is
It's
get
King
owned by
Supers.
Kroger's.
Yep.
hmm They're based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, and
Yep.
Kroger's like my brother works for them, and he runs the ice cream deck. So if you ever buy some ice cream from one of them, would you say King Supers?
King
That's where he get it
Super.
from. He runs that
Right on.
deck. He makes sure you getting some pure ice cream, but as much as he can do.
Right.
Oh man, we didn't. But this is what the podcast we like. We just anybody want to talk sports? We gonna go back to music in a minute.
Well, here's the one question though. To get back into, we got a question from Red.
Sure.
Red wants to know. She wants to know, how does the panel feel about the new female hip hop artists that are out today?
Mm.
It,
Who want to go first?
yeah. Please let me go first because
Yeah,
I'm about
please.
to
Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
regurgitate
Go ahead, my brother.
everything I
Go ahead,
got to
Jay
say.
Lazo. Go ahead.
It's like they are destroying generations of young ladies, young women. They are destroying, and again, we talking about marketing. I mean, it's become commonplace for an artist, and now even just women walking down the street to expose the crack of their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Literally exposing the crack of their ass in public and are not citation. It's commonplace. It's okay. It's teaching. It's teaching our little girls that that's okay, and it's not okay. It's teaching little girls to be sluts. It's teaching little girls to that they could say all of these things, be disrespectful, to be easy, to look at, the whole thing is about like if a man doesn't have all this money and cars, then he's worthless. Nothing about his character and his ability to protect the woman. All of that stuff is out the window. And for the most
Facts.
part, we standing by, not us personally, but in general, we're standing by just letting it happen. I think
Can
it's
I say something?
disgusting. You could do whatever you want to do, but when they don't balance it out, like there are artists out there, women artists out there, hip hop female artists out there who have different formats, who talk about different things. They don't publicize that. They publicizing all the booty shakers, all these
Yes,
skanks. I don't,
that's
I don't want to
what.
hear. I don't want to hear that. I mean, that's me.
That's
I don't want to hear
very
that shit.
that's very yeah, but that's very positive female artist that's getting to the root. I mean, I remember I was going to the radio show and it's like and Islamic perspective was on before me. And this chick was just breaking it down. I was like, who is she? I was driving to the radio show and I heard them before I got on my show. So I'm tuning into the radio show. She was Muslim. Um, she was doing her thing. And I was like, who is she? I said, I got her music. I turned it on to my daughters. And like here's a father, I got custody of my daughters and whatnot. And I'm teaching them how to be women. And the first thing women knew, I mean, who do they look first to? Their dad. And then the absence of a dad
Hmm.
might cause some of this backlash. And then they're out on the streets. They're doing different things. And
Right.
and then you got to mix that with the people that control the airwaves, and they're like, they don't want the positivity. They want to sell records. And then also, I think sometimes it's a hidden agenda of making them look like that. Oh, all they do is twerk. They only just do that. They're welfare recipients. And then the basic facts is we got a higher percentage, but there's more, you know, um, other people on welfare than black people who helped build this country. So it gets a little deep on how you do it. If the daddy there and the daddy doing the right things, he gonna stop that. My daughters ain't out there they got college degrees. They doing what they supposed to do. They're doing mental
Hmm.
health therapy stuff like that. So, but that is not the norm, and that's the problem. And then and they're giving up the ghost to they're creating another cycle of these things that need to stop. So I mean, it's pandemic for what we've been going through. So I would say this. I mean, the airways will put out the most gutter stuff. Oh, let's shake my ass, and then it's some women that really present themselves good in hip hop. They be like, the who distributes and all that. They be like, nah, that ain't shock value enough. I mean,
Right.
I
Well,
can't I can't stand basketball wives and bad girl clubs. I don't want to see that, man. Come on, now that's just showing you like, no, this all y'all do is fight. I don't want to believe in it. I don't want to see it.
I have a
But
question.
there's a lot
Is
of people that go ahead.
Yeah.
so what female MCs that are out there, and you can even name like who you would consider. I want to know everybody's personal favorite. I won't say you don't
Mm,
have to put the stake
good
of greatest
question.
of all time. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that. But as far as it's your personal favorite. That's who
I'll,
we all argue with. Who is your favorite female MC of all time?
I'll go first.
Wow.
Um, if are we talking about like my favorite or who I think is like the
I mean,
Do
greatest?
both.
my
Do both.
opinion, you can do both if it's two different people, if that's cool. But in my opinion, your favorite, whoever your favorite is who you're going to ultimately say your number one is of all time.
I don't I don't think there's a goat per se in anything. I think everybody it can be great. I don't think you can single down to one person who's the greatest. But you have Queen Latifah, you've got MC Light, you've got Missy
My number
Elliott,
one.
Oh,
you have Salt and Pepper,
ooh,
who paved the way for the current generation of women who now they are now setting these women back for what they've done in the industry for hip hop and music. They're now undoing everything these ladies laid forth. Look at the brat. She told everybody it was okay to
Man,
be a tomboy. You can still be sexy and still do it properly. Um, and you had these females who laid the groundwork to introduce women into an industry that was male dominated per se. And now
Yes.
all of that work is being undone by all these women currently, when all it is for overnight fame and
Man.
Right.
attention.
Do
And
you
it's
think it's
disgusting.
the women or the industry that
It's the industry.
pushes
I
like so? Let's.
both.
I would say
But it
like
takes two to
Lauren.
tango.
It's both.
I mean,
It's
yeah. I mean, hey, get that quick money,
it's what
Lauren
sells.
Hill,
Yeah,
Oh,
Bahamadia.
from day one, sex sells.
Uh,
Everyone knows
uh,
that sex sells day one.
what's the
Lauren
one?
Hill,
What's the
mad
one chick?
underrated.
Lauren
Now,
Hill,
I mean, this
absolutely.
was it.
Erica
Heather
Badu,
B.
you got it. It's
Heather
there.
B. Remember Heather B?
All
Absolutely.
Glocks
Yep.
down.
Right. I mean, we talking about like we coming to New York, and let's go to Shop Shack
Bahamadia.
Rock. Let's go to. I got her. I got Angie Stone. She was down with that when Sequence
Yeah.
came out, and like you
Sequence.
know this. Come on, that shows some girl. The girls was like, we tired of these niggas rapping. Like, let's show us.
Yo,
Like, we got some
Yeah.
swag too.
Moni Love.
There it is. It's coming off the tip of my
Moni
tongue.
Yeah,
Love.
Moni
Yeah, I mean,
Love.
but you said
Absolutely.
Queen
Moni.
Latifah, and she's like, you
She
knew what
part
that
of it.
was. And then like some of the newer ones. I can't think of the one she rocks with Talib Kweli, Jean Grey. I mean, you just just
Yeah.
it's
Mm.
but that ain't what you get here. You get Megan Thee Stallion. I ain't knocking on that. You get
I,
Nicki
Like
I want.
Minaj.
I
But
have a
she,
question.
it's
but Megan Thee Stallion is, I mean, when you look at what they project and what I look for personally, like Megan Thee Stallion, whether she writing her own stuff or not, she got skills.
yeah.
She
She
do.
promotes body positivity
I
in
ain't
all shapes
knocking
and
her.
sizes. So you can't, it's
Yes,
not a
and
Mhm.
bad
that's
thing.
that's a big thing for girls. Like my daughters are 6'3" and 6'2", and like by like they wasn't meeting men that was pretty much taller than them.
Right.
And they call themselves Amazons, and they beautiful. Like my sister did modeling and da da da. So they need to feel like they was getting called Shaq and Kobe in school because they played basketball, cold with it. But they need to
Yeah.
hear that like it's okay to be tall, it's okay to be short, it's okay to be a little bit plump and present yourself. But do the songs represent these women? Do the songs are like, oh, you gotta be anorexic or and like, hey,
Nah,
lady in the
it's
street, go ahead, Big Weez.
I mean, y'all can record look back and y'all know who the very first female artist ever recorded on vinyl, right?
Mhm.
I mean, she's considered that pioneer, which that's Sha Rock, or some
Yes,
call her Shay
indeed.
Rock. She's um I mean, this is
Roxanne,
all the hard
Shantae.
work. Yeah, this is the work that embodied the female presence in hip hop, literally
Yeah.
in the current state of it. I don't knock them. I mean, I listen to them. Like I like Lotto, I like Meg The Stallion, Lizzo. I listen to all them because they still have a message
Lizzo,
behind their
I
music.
love, I love
They still have
Lizzo.
a message and they still carrying on that vibe that the women before them set on. It's those ones where it's just nasty. Like it's just all it is verbal
Ratchet.
porno. I'm
Yeah.
good on hearing that.
Hey,
I
salute to Lizzo because she's part of Star Wars now. I mean, she's official. She's official
yes.
Star Wars princess now.
So my step
Yeah.
daughter, she's like, we dance to that song. I listen to the words because sometimes like
Millie Jackson, good call
we
there, Red.
even as in our age and being hip hop historians and OGs, you listen to like sometimes you just listen to the beat and like yeah that's and then you listen to the words and you watch the video. I was like that is dope. That was empowering for women. Like I might look like him, and that like I was like God that's so. I like
Well,
my step granddaughter and my granddaughter. They listen to it and they like and they want to be like that. It gives them aspirations. I know we had Lauren Hill,
that's well. I
and we're
wanted to
talking about
ask you. I wanted hold on
Go
for a
ahead. Go
second.
ahead.
Don't gloss
Go ahead.
over here
Go.
because that's the thing. I wanted to get everybody's opinion on because Lauren Hill. I mean, it's a good thing for hip hop that she was able and the Fugees were able to get back together, and she's doing and performing. I think the Fugees together because that was a whole movement and it was special, right? But
Mhm.
you know, with Lauren Hill, her career due to personal problems or because the one thing that you hear that gets floated around was that came up. What do you folks think that there was any validity to her, the reason why she didn't continue to have any other put anything else out was because of the ghostwriters or not having the ghostwriters and not being with Wyclef anymore? What do you think the reason for her break was? Was it truly just because she wanted to be a mom and experience that and put her whole soul and heart into that? Because I understand that and I respect
I'm
that
speculating.
wholeheartedly.
I think her wanting to be a mom, and I think that I'm speculating. I don't know. I mean, hopefully we can get her on here and she can talk about some things that we don't know. And that's the issue when you talk about things about other people, and that's like when you present yourself to an industry, you present yourself to the world. I mean, Jaz-O, they could say some, oh well, he's doing this and da da da, and I mean, I mean, you can get that. And then when somebody speaks and they can tell you what they actually felt, and then you disseminate between what they say and what it is. I mean, and then they don't even know. They're like, hey, Jaz-O was a rapper. Now he's producing. They didn't know you produce.
Well,
I
where do
mean,
you
some
guys
people.
rate? Where would you say on
Um, for Lauren
your
Hill,
yeah, where would each of you gentlemen place her in regards to who you would say who your favorite or your top female MC? Is she in the conversation for top three or
Absolutely.
top 10,
Absolutely.
top
Yeah,
10.
e-
You know what?
easily, and I have to say that, like Weez said, um, I don't really rate like that. I can
yeah?
only honestly rate myself,
Hmm.
as the greatest in all the universes. You know what I'm saying?
Respect to that.
and,
I ain't mad at my
and
brother.
and we supposed to. And Big Weez, he got to say the same thing. He says anything
Hmm.
less, then I'm gonna look at him sideways. You know what I'm saying? So um, it comes down to like she's just special. But
Yeah.
I don't really rate like that. I just think that she's special. Like I can say this with Queen Latifah also being a singer and spit those bars.
Mm.
Ladies
Lauren
first.
Hill,
Ladies
I
first.
think, yeah,
UNNTY, man. That
right.
song right there, that whole vibe, man. I'm sorry. That right there
And
that has
think
to go
about
down
that.
like an
That
all-time
probably
classic.
encouraged. And so the women was sharpened in a male-dominated sport, which hip hop sport. And I love what's her face? I just lost my thought. Oh, it was oh God, I gotta think of that one.
Yeah. So without
Yeah, what
while
were
you
you
Go
think
saying,
ahead,
while
go
you
Vince?
ahead.
think about that, I was just gonna
I get
say
it back.
Lauren Hill, I think, is the highest talented in both of those arenas. Like as a singer and a rap artist
Mm.
combined, or hip hop lyricist, I think she's the top in that aspect. And it's not just because I saw at Yankee Stadium and took a picture. I ain't see her like really. We
I
just
got
kind of just met physically, but I had to. I'm gonna take the time to shout her out because she's a very special talent. And
I
any
just
it,
thought of who I was thinking about.
who is it?
Queen Mother Rage. And
Ah,
She was from Philly. She did that microphone punk cock. She did that with a method Red Man. 'Cause I think Red Man had something to do with her, and then she signed a Death Row. Never. I mean,
Mm.
she had
Yeah,
a
Lady of
rockin' tough
Rage.
with Afro
Yeah,
puffs.
yeah,
And
the
man, I
Lady
Yeah,
of
heard her
Rage.
album. Her album was off the chain because she was from Philly, and she wasn't really on the, she wasn't West Coast like that. But she was dope. But I give some props to Yo Yo. Um,
Yeah,
uh, I mean
My
Yo
God,
Yo
you
was
have
like,
to give props to Yo Yo.
that's
come on
right.
now, and
Shout
you
out to
look
Yo
at the
Yo.
women. You give props to women in different because hip hop. I mean, it's hip hop is the mother. It covers
Yes.
everything. And then you got rap, you got, trap, you got boom bap, like hip hop covers everything. That's why I tell people. They're like, oh man, that ain't
it's the
hip hop.
most sampled music in the world. Every genre of music you listen to uses a form of hip hop. I don't
Absolutely.
care if it's country, if it's techno,
They
if it's
taught them how to
EDM.
do it. Listen
Everything
to the new
is
country
birthed
songs.
is from hip hop. Um,
And
and it
it's
crosses over every
original.
genre.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? And like Jaz-O, you was on the front lines when this was a fad. And now all of a sudden this is like, and everything you hear is hip hop. I
Yeah,
mean, it ain't country, it ain't rock. I mean, it ain't alternative rock. It's hip hop. It's the new American music because it combines. It's like the melting pot of everything. And
Yeah.
this is
definitely.
what this is what wasn't supposed to last or exist. And now we want to tell people like, wow, you're enjoying it. And you're like, we're good parents. We tell our kids what hip hop was and how it started. So enjoy what you get now. Enjoying the social media. But this came from nothing. It came from a lack of opportunities. We wasn't in bands. We couldn't afford equipment. Like we scraped up the turntables and mixed them back and forth. We found old records, and this is what hip hop is, and that's the true essence of it. And now
Mm-hmm.
like if we don't teach our kids that, and like they'll know. My daughter's like, daddy, yeah, daddy. Like they've been around with scribble jam. They've been around seeing breakdancing, graffiti, beatboxing, stuff like that. Oh, you're like, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not gonna slow your roll. We're not gonna trap you in the past. It's gonna keep moving forward. But
Got another.
once this, yeah, once it became what it became, and it's like every music goes through this. It's called bastardization. Once you do something, when jazz came out, and here comes the people with money. I want that record out. And now you lose your artistry, and then people start copying, and people with money would come in and tell you how to do it. And that's like we talked about this earlier. Like so as soon as you get a hit record in hip hop, oh, get the artist and A&R would tell you like, I need you to do a song like that. And what would you say in New York, Jazz? So that's biting, man. I need to do my own thing.
Right.
Sign me
Well,
up for my own thing.
but what we
That's the
should mention
logo.
in lieu
Go
of
ahead.
that, right? I move different, and,
Mhm.
and what we
Yes.
should mention with that is that again, it takes two to tango. So these people who hold the cards, meaning that they have the money, they find the weak links. You know what I'm saying? They find the weak links, and the people that you see who are the mega stars, who are who people who the public think are the most talented and inspired, and they work super hard to get to where they are. Those are, and this is not a hate
No,
target or anything like that, but
I feel
those
you.
are the weak links because you have to pass through those gates in order to be that mega star. You have to pass through those gates, and few and far between are those who pass or can sidestep that whole gate syndrome. There are some, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, you got to go through those gates. And it takes somebody who's willing to betray their friends, um, cut somebody out of a deal, um, present themselves in a certain way, as like what we were just talking about with the a lot of these women artists now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the bottom line. It takes two to tango. That what we should be talking about really is why. Of course we know why, but it's like to maintain the integrity of it. And
Well,
at
I
the end
think
of the
we should
day,
talk about
the
why.
people with the people with yeah, we know why, but the people with money are the ones who hold the cards. And the whole issue is, as long as that happens and we don't create and there was a time where we would there was some icons in the music game, young executives. I'm not going to go into it, but they were
Yeah.
combining to start their own distribution back when, you know, physical CDs and vinyl was being distributed. And somebody out of that circle went and told, you know, the so-called powers that be and shut it all down. So
I
this
know
is
that
what we
story.
right.
And
This is what
I'm
we're dealing with.
Yep, and I would tell you this because like because I come from different aspects. As an artist, a producer, put my own music out. With art, I have very talented artists, and it was like, and I heard through the record pool like, oh, they're combining labels. They wanted to shut down. They wanted everybody to come through. It's like monopoly.
Called unification. And that's what they
Yeah,
called it. They said they were unifying all of the major labels because they were just
yeah.
revealing and exposing what they already were from the beginning. They're
And they
already
was
a unit.
losing money. They stopped doing A&R. They stopped trying to find new artists. They didn't want to put out, and they would just trash new artists. Oh, we got the new sound. We on to the next. And I watched it. I
But
watched it.
what I'm saying, what is it? What is a trash artist?
Oh no, not trash artists, but like they were like, oh, we gonna get a flash in the pan. I say, y'all didn't develop this artist. Y'all got
But
somebody to mimic
again,
somebody else.
but this is what I'm saying, and I'm not trying to be you know,
No,
I'm
I'm
not
just
trying to
saying it.
be debative or anything. I'm just saying that.
No.
So what is a flash in the pan? Oh, what? And I'm gonna give you the answer. These are the things that they create because they create. It's called social programming. So if they're at the forefront of what you see and hear, then they basically determine what people think is a flash in the pan, a trash artist,
Yes.
um,
Oh, he ain't no
a
good no
mega
more.
star, a mega
Yes.
star. You're right, and everything else.
We're on the same
So
page.
right. So
Yeah, I
that's what
miss.
I'm saying. So yeah.
Yeah. So they're programmed not to listen to nothing that's popping out that's new. And like, let me give you examples. Like with the record pool, like we gotta break some music. I hear the record, I'm like, I heard so many. I'm like, just like somebody ain't got it. And then I hear this like, I get that record. I'm like, man, play this now. I love it. I'm cleaning up the house and it's on repeat. I'm like, man, this is dope. You go there and play it, and like I would run it through the whole cycles, and the dance floor would clear because they was radio programmed. They didn't like back in the day. If you heard a hot joint, you dance. You got up there like, oh. Now people like they'll clear the floor like, man, what's that, man? That's kind of fly. I said, why ain't you dancing? So they control that element of like my DJs had that problem. I mean, Ghost. How hard was it? How hard was it to break a record?
It was very hard. It was very hard, especially when you had, especially at the club that I had. It held 3 to 4,000 member skippers, and
Hmm.
you know for me to put something on that
New.
yeah, it had to be all. I had to have all the confidence in me to be able to put that thing on. I wouldn't put on and clear my dance floor out for nothing.
Yeah, if you
I
put
wouldn't
it
do that because
on,
that's really his. Whatever I'm putting on, I'm projecting as me, right? Whatever
yeah.
it's a projection of myself, and especially with the situation that I was in, where I was
Mhm.
at an all urban nightclub, right? So I was
Absolutely.
fresh nose. That's how you found me. I was an all white DJ at an all black
You
nightclub, and it
would.
was one of the biggest nightclubs in Cincinnati. And we
Yes.
did old school funk and R&B, and it was all vinyl, all of that stuff. And I was able to put in and break stuff and break, but whatever I had to put in, it had to be that,
Excuse me.
because if not, they're on I'm on it's on my neck even harder, you know what I mean? So the boos are coming, the hate's coming. It's just real, the pressure that I felt, inside. It had to be something that I felt confident in
And
introducing.
then
And
you play it one time and you like it clears the floor like
if it
roaches.
clears the
Like
floor, it's a wrap. As I'm packing up, I've got that sitting in the ready to throw that out my window as I'm going down the highway. I'm
but if you
purposely
felt that
frisbeeing it.
song, oh, let me tell you this too. I met up with Mixmaster Ice. He was in the record booth. You
Mm.
remember Mix? He like, yo,
I know Big Master.
he talk like New York. Yo, fresh. I'm like, why are you hollering? I'm like, yo, fresh. I'm like, calm down, man. It's like it's just why are you yelling? But that was like, I'm from a big city. I gotta talk loud. He's like, fresh, this is cool. But I had a couple DJs. I had this one dude from Akron, Ohio, and he's like, okay, we trying to break a record. He played the record, cleared the floor. He played that motherfucker 5 times in a row. So they got back. They're like, if we don't respond, and then they all start getting into it. It's repetition. And
Right.
I told him, I said, I would not accept record pool sponsorship. I said, nah, we can't break this record. I would test it out like, nah, this is whack. And sometimes, sometimes my opinion, I listen to my DJs. It was Kaya, my neck, my back. I said, man, that sucks. And then my DJ started telling me, man, fresh. I played it, and it's all the chicks on the floor.
Man,
And if you
listen.
get the chicks on the floor, the niggas will follow. So
I
I'm
do
like,
want to.
Right.
I want to do one quick check in. I
what?
know we are at 2 hours and 13 minutes, and I want to know how you gentlemen are on your time, and because I
I'm
do
cool.
want to hit some things before we get there. But how are you folks doing on time?
Yeah, I'm getting
Yeah,
close to wrapping
I
up.
got some things to be doing. Yeah.
Understood. So what I want to do is, you had mentioned I move different, so I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about it. Let me share
Yeah.
this.
Oh, I like that.
Yes,
I like
indeed.
that.
Yes, indeed.
So here it is. Tell us about
Yes,
I
you got
move
some
different.
dreads on, bro.
Oh, me? Nah, I ain't got no dreads, man.
Oh, I'm just
Um.
messing.
Oh, nah. That's
Oh,
that's our man.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it's Capone. Yeah.
okay.
So, um, yeah. So I move different. Um, I partnered up with my sister from another mother, visionary out of Michigan, and we got the gear. The concept is I move different. It's really self-explanatory. Um, you can go to www.imovedifferent.com and pick up your wares. We got a new fall and winter lineup that's going to be posted within the week, between the end of this week and the beginning of next week. And I wear it all the time.
That
You know what
look
I'm
good,
saying?
man.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It's the materials, everything is everything. Top quality. That's the best way to put it. You know what
Let
time
me
it
tell
is.
you.
This one right here
Let me,
is a fitted, you know.
oh, I like that. What is that? That looks shiny.
Oh, you
That's
talking about the
the bomber jacket.
Man,
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
the color
baseball
for your
jackets.
hat,
Yeah.
man. That is my one other than black and gold. That is my royal blue is
yeah.
my favorite color.
And
That
we're
makes me
about to
pop up.
we're about to have it in some new colors. I don't have the specifics right now, but it's gonna be on the site. So your eye move different, you're doing it big. A lot of people have clothing lines, but nobody has I move different, and nobody relates and explains and expresses to the people what they feel in their hearts. Everybody has a sense of individuality, and that's what we express in our clothes, in our concept.
Oh, let me say this because I have something called like my whole label is called Truth Music Progeny. But my older sister, she goes to fashion shows and she got
Hmm.
some models. Um, she can get you some models on the runway. I would like her name is Brick Malone. Uh, we call her Brick. That's
Right?
yeah, it was Brick because my father said when she's my older sister, like, and she got a hard head. She got a brick head. So she took that to her. Yeah, but she's up in Chicago. And so like you want to get a fashion line, I can get you connected with her. Like, hey, her models, because she got it's called Checkmate Malone models.
Hmm.
And like we can collab on that. So
Yeah,
everything,
we can
yeah.
connect on that definitely.
So they
Hmm.
can be rocking down the runway. You're
Sit
like,
down.
hey, you feel what I'm
Yes,
saying?
indeed. Of course, of course.
We're on this call for like I do one thing. No, I don't do one thing. I do a lot of things.
You move different.
That's right.
Yeah,
It's the
right.
whole
So I like
movement.
I said,
That's
hey,
So
right.
I'm gonna call my sister. I'm like, and this podcast gonna be recorded. I'm like, sis, hey, hey, this Jaz-O. You remember this song? And then she might be like, yeah, because she's a couple years older. She's closer to your age than I am. We're only
Hmm.
like 4 years apart. She be like, hey, I got a fashion show come up. And I'm like, hey, let's link with Jaz-O. Can we get some I Move Different clothing line? So she actually designs too. So they might move different, and then they have your cap and that coat on.
Hmm.
They move different. This from
Yeah,
Jazz. Oh,
let's see
yeah.
what it
See,
is, man.
you
yo,
see how this
Sound like a
works?
plan.
You see how
Oh
this
yeah.
works?
so
Oh yeah.
Weez,
Yes, sir.
any parting words, any shout outs, anything that you'd like to impart before we get up out of here?
Oh no, man. Thank you for taking the time out of y'all busy day to host us.
Man,
We definitely
come on.
appreciate the platform that y'all are giving us, and and paying homage to the industry in the way that you have for the years that both of you guys have done for this industry and keeping this culture alive. So definitely blessings on that.
Man, well, thank
For
you
sure.
again. For sure. I personally want to thank you again for you and linking up. I want to say thank you to Cosmo for linking us up, and Jazz again. Appreciate you for
Thank you.
um, spending time out of your busy day and getting down with us, especially on this episode number 1.
Number
Great thing to
one.
have you, and we want to have you. We want to have you and Weez back, and we've been talking about that. So let's make this thing for real. And much love to you, G Fresh. Do you have any words to say? Is G
Maybe he
Fresh
can't hear you.
frozen? I think he's frozen.
Yeah,
Oh
Yo,
man.
yeah.
all
He
right.
don't
So
froze out.
no worries, no worries, no worries. Jazz. one last
Yeah.
thing. Any parting words?
Yeah, most definitely. I want to talk about my first book that I'm completing.
Yes,
Um,
please.
Tentatively, the tentative date for release is December 16th. The name of the book is Universe, Creative Writing Guide, Biotext 1 for Nigga What, Nigga Who. It's based on the reason why it's called Universe is because it's one verse. So I highlight one verse in the song. It's one in the book. It's a text book, and it's also um, an autobiography, not of my full life, but they're excerpts that were taken from my life and inserted into each volume. It's going to be 7 volumes that I call biotexts. And the reason why I call them biotexts is because it gives enlightenment on 7 steps to creative writing or to composing a writing work. You know what I'm saying? So, and it has some backstories. It has the backstory of me going into the studio performing the verse from Nigga What, Nigga Who, and the other 6 biotexts are going to highlight different verses, not necessarily my verses, but landmark verses that changed the course in hip hop music.
Oh man, that sounds dope. And so you don't have a tentative date again, right?
Uh, December 16th is tentative.
All
Mm-hmm.
right, so close. And where will they be able to get it?
Everywhere, everywhere, and there'll be hard copies. I'm gonna have a commemorative edition.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, special edition hardcover. You
Will
know,
that
with
be
fancy
on iMove
artwork.
Different? Will that be on the
Uh,
iMove Different website, or will it be on Amazon?
uh, we're gonna partner with Amazon. Also, my site under construction, which is KK Seller. So it's www.kkseller.com.
I'm pulling that up right now. Let's see.
Yeah, super under construction, like
That
nothing
doesn't.
there almost.
Yeah, there's. It's not pulling up for me. Like,
That's probably why.
yeah.
Yeah, but it will be up. It will be up.
Okay.
And
All right.
yeah, so it's no phony baloney. The domain is mine, and we're under construction now. We didn't click the button yet, to reveal to the world.
Man, well, definitely let us know, and we most definitely promote that and pump that up and let everybody know all about that because that's dropping right in time for the holidays. And
For sure.
that sounds like a must-have piece of history.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful
so
thing. I appreciate you.
man, I appreciate you and I thank you all so much. So we're going to conclude episode number 1 of B-Boys Underground Forever. Unfortunately, G Fresh is having some technical difficulties. We'll get that straightened out on the other end. We'll be doing this again next week. Next week, same time, same channel. So much love to each and every single one of y'all. B-Boys Underground Forever.
Salute.
Peace.